Welcome back to 242 Math. I am your host Raphael Thompson, and today we'll be looking at grade 6 mathematics revision for computation. Computation examinations have changed nowadays, and you have to do a lot more application in these exams. That's why we'll be focusing on them at this time. Okay, there you see an example of a test for grade 6 for computation, and this test has 19 questions, and it's what I would have given during the summer for week 1. Advise students to look through the test and do the easy ones first before they get to the harder ones. Number 1 on the test, 5,206 plus 3,142. Okay, this is one that most students should get because it doesn't have any renaming or regrouping involved. Okay, so you add 6 and 2, 0, 4, 2, and 1, 5, and 3. Notice I put sticks beside the numbers. So students who are challenged can use their fingers or use sticks and then add. Okay, so when you add, you get 8,348, and you go from the right to the left. So 6 and 2 first, and 0 and 4, 2 and 1, and then 5 and 3. Number 2. 8,635 plus 5,927. Now this involves renaming or regrouping. So you have to know how to do that in order to work questions like this one. Okay, so if the child is unable to do it, please help them. First, we're going to do it in steps. We're going to add the 7 and the 5. 7 and 5, put the sticks down if you're unsure. Do you use your fingers? 7 and 5 is 12. You cannot put the whole 12 down. Put the 2 and you place the 1 in the tens, above the tens numbers, so you place it above the 3. So you add that 1 with the 3 and 2. We added it in. 3 and 2 is 5. And the 1 that we carried over at the top of the 3 makes it 6. So we don't use the word carry anymore. We say rename or regroup. Okay, we do the next one. 9 and 6 is 15. You cannot put the whole 15 down. I have the 15 there. You put the 5 and then you place the 1 above the 8. Okay, and you cannot put two numbers in the addition unless you get to the end. So now you're left with just the 1, 8, and 5. That gives you 14. You can put the whole 14 in. Why? Because you're at the end of that question. So that's the only time you can put the 2 digits in. If you add and get 2 digits, then you can put it at the end, not in the middle of the problem. 2 marks for that because that was a bit hard, and you have to be able to rename or regroup in order to do it. If they can't do it, give them more practice in this because they have to be able to do it for the national examination. Number 3, 2 plus a missing number plus 10 equals 17. Now 2 ways you can do it. A simple problem, but you have to decide how you will work it first. Okay, so there I have it. You have 2 plus 10 gives you 12. You added the numbers at the front, and then you subtracted it from 17. 17 take away 12 would give you 5. That's one way you can do it. But students who are a bit more challenged, they could add the 10 and the 2 and get 12. Count on from the 12 to 17. So they count on from 12, they get 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 5 steps. And then check your answer. 2 plus 5 plus 10 must be equal to the answer, which is 17. And then you know that 5 is correct. Number 4. 5 plus 1.2 is equal to something. You're adding decimal numbers. Problem is, students don't know where the point is in 5. So if you just have 5, a whole number, where's the point? Can you give me the answer? Yes, it's at the back. So it's 5.0 or 5.00, same thing. So you set it up 5.0 plus 1.2, point above point or point under point, and that's how you set it up. And then you add 2 and 0 is 2, point, and then 5 and 1 is 6, 6.2. So your answer is 6.2. You don't have to work it. The smartest students can just do it straight, just like that. Number 5. 1 over 10 plus a fraction is equal to 7 tenths. 1 tenth plus a fraction is 7 tenths. Now, since the answer is in tenths, the missing fraction must be something in tenths as well. So this is how you're going to work it. 1 over 10 plus a fraction over 10 is equal to 7 tenths. So you have all the tens on the bottom, so that's straightforward for the denominators. You know it has to be 10. The numerators must add to give you 7. 1 plus something is 7. What is the number you add to 1 to give you 7? It has to be 6. 1 plus 6 is 7. Okay? Now, all you do is just write in the fraction. There you have it. 1 over 10 plus 6 over 10 is equal to 7 over 10. Because 1 plus 6 on the top is 7, and your answer must be in tenths. Number 6. 7,963. Subtract the number that's 3,000 with a missing number 51. Now I did the 3 take away 1 is 2, 6 take away 5 is 1, 9 take away something is 6, 7 take away 3 is 4. You have to fill in the blank. 9 take away something is 6. Do it on your fingers or use sticks. Okay? If you put 9 sticks down and then you outline or circle 6 of them, how many of them do you have left? 3. So 9 take away 3 would give you 6. Or just use your fingers. 9 subtract 3 and you get 6. Number 7. You're dealing with money. $601.52. Take away $213.48. Now you have some regrouping in this, so you have to be careful, and we'll do it one step at a time to ensure that you know what to do. First of all, you cannot take away 8 from 2, so you have to rename it. Take away 1 from the 5, makes it a 4. Carry the 1, make it 12. 12 take away 8 is 4. First step. Now you have 4 take away 4. 4 take away 4, 0. No renaming, because you can take away 4 from 4, you get 0. Put the point in, that's important. Do not leave out the point. So now you're dealing with 1 take away 3. The next step. You cannot take away 3 from 1, so you have to rename, and you have to go all the way to the 6. Take 1 away from it, 5. You skip the 0, so you make it a 9, and you take a 1 with the 1 to make it 11. 11 take away 3 is 8. But now that step was very important because you had to skip a 0. When you skip it, you have to make it a 9. So practice, students, in that. Now the rest would be fairly simple once you've done that. There you have it. 9 take away 1 is 8, and then 5 take away 2 is 3. So you get 388.04. That was a bit hard, so 2 marks for that as well. Practice your students with that if they are unsure on what to do when they have to rename, or if they are skipping 1 0 or 2 zeros. Number 8, 1 kilometer take away 300 meters is equal to something. Now, this is where application is involved, because first of all, you have to make them the same units. It can either all be kilometers or all be meters. Which one do you think it has to be? 1 kilometer take away 300 meters. You have to change the kilometers, the larger one, to meters. Do you know how many meters are in 1 kilometer? Yes, 1,000 meters. So then the question is, 1,000 meters, which is 1 kilometer, take away 300 meters. And you can count on from 300, count on from 3 till you get to 10. See how much that is. And remember, you're dealing with hundreds. Or you can just subtract. So it's 1,000 take away 300. 0 take away 0, 0, 0 take away 0, 0. Then you have to rename, because you cannot take away 3 from 0. So you take 1 from the 1, and put it with the 0, make it 10. 10 take away 3 is 7. 7 is the correct answer for that. Now, you need to know that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. 1 kilogram is how many grams? 1,000. 1 kiloliter is how many liters? 1,000 liters. You need to know these for in dealing with the metric system. Number 9. 3 take away 1.5. And you can do this. It's fairly simple, but students tend to get around because they say 3 take away 1 is 2, and they put 2.5 as the answer, which is wrong, completely wrong, because they did not do something in the process. Now you can count on from 1.5. 1.5 to 2 is a half, and then 2 to 3 is 1. A half plus 1 is 1.5. That gives you the answer right away. Or you can do something else if you don't know how to count on using halves, because to get from 1.5 to 2, you have to realize that's a half. And then from 2 to 3 is easy, that's 1. Okay, but if you don't know how to do that, there's another way you can do it. And there's a simpler way to look at it as well. So you can say 3 over 1, take away, change the 1.5 to an improper fraction, you get 3 over 2, and then change the 3, multiply by 2, top and bottom, so you get 6 over 2, take away 3 over 2 is equal to 3 over 2, and that's 1.5. Or you can say 3 take away 1 is 2, 2 take away a half is 1.5. You can do it in your head. 3 take away 1 is 2, 2 take away a half, 1.5. Number 10. 9/10 take away a fraction is 3/10. Now again, you have it missing at the front, and you can say right away that you have tenths, so you know that the missing fraction will be tenths, because you're dealing with like fractions again. And there you have it, 9 over 10. 9/10 take away a fraction in tenths is 3/10. So all of the bottom would be 10, that's the denominator, so that'll stay the same. 9 take away a number is 3. 9 take away what is 3? 9 take away 6 is 3. So the answer is 9/10 take away 6/10 is equal to 3/10. Okay, because 9 take away 6 is 3, and the bottom number stays the same, which is 10, because you're subtracting tenths. Okay, not too hard. When we get to the other fractions, we get a bit harder. Number 11, 2 times 10 to the power 2 is 2 times 10 squared. So you have to know what 10 squared is. You're dealing with an exponent there, or power. So that's the first step. 10 squared is 10 times 10. The 2 tells you how many times to multiply the base. 10 times 10 is what? Know your tables for that? It's 100. Then it means 2 times 100. You can work it out if you don't know it. 2 times 100, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 1, and that's 200. So that 2 times 10 to the power 2 is 200. Or look at the 2, if it says to the power 2, you add 2 zeros. Number 12. 10 times 12 times 6. So you have to multiply twice. So let's do the first part, 10 times 12, get the answer, and then multiply the answer by 6, and then get the final answer for this. So 2 steps involved. Multiply 10 times 12, you get 120. How? When you multiply by 10, just add a 0 to the number. So 10 times 12 is 120. Now when you get to 120, you have to multiply by 6. 120 times 6, let's multiply it. 6 times 0 is 0, 6 2s is 12, 6 1s is 6, and you add the 1 is 720. 720 when you do the final multiplication. Okay, so 10 times 12 times 6 is equal to 720. Okay, so don't be worried about the 3 numbers when you're multiplying. 13, half of 6, and those of you who are pretty smart can give me the answer right away. What's half of 6? Of course you know the answer, because you're dealing with a half, and that's fairly simple or straightforward. But there's another way you can look at it. What does half of 6 mean? First of all, half of 6 means half. 1/2 times 6. Of means times. So it's 1 over 2 times 6 over 1. That's how you can set it up. Now once you're multiplying, fractions is easy and straightforward. For the next step, you will multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. So it's 1 times 6 on the top, 2 times 1 on the bottom, which is 6 over 2. And when you divide 6 by 2, you get 3. Know your tables. 2 times 3 is 6, or put down 6, and then group them in 2s, and you get 3 groups. So the challenge students, you can show them how to do the division for the last part of this question in order for them to get the 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. You're dividing 412 by 2. So division again, but you're dividing by 2, which should be fairly easy. First you're going to divide 2 into 4, which is the first number. Okay, 2 into 4, how many times does it go? I underline the 4 to show you dividing it into that number. 2 into 4 goes 2 times, because 2 times 2 is 4. Next, you say 2 into 1. I underline the 1. 2 into 1, how many times can 2 go into 1? 1 is smaller than 2, so it goes 0 times. Then you underline the 1 with the 2 to make it 12. 2 into 12 goes 6 times, but that 0 in the middle is important, because you don't have it in the middle, it changes the answer, and the answer would be wrong. So 2 into 4, 1, 2, gives you 200 6. Okay, and there you have it. If you just have 26, it's wrong, because you have to say 2 into the 1 in the middle, and that would give you that 0 in the middle. Number 15 is 23.50 divided by 10. So we will do this as long division to give you practice in long division. First you say 10 into 2, can't go, so you put a 0 above the 2. You don't have to put a 0 in, so you say 10 into 23. That's what we're looking at. 10 into 23 goes 2 times, and you multiply by 20. You get 20. 2 times 10 is 20. You subtract, you get 3. And you must remember to put the point right above the point. Point above point. Now you bring down the 5. Say 10 into 35. 10 times 3 is 30. And you subtract, you get 5. So the next thing you have to do is bring down the 0 and add it to that 5. Okay, there you have it. Add it to the 5, it becomes 50. 10 into 50 5 times. 5 times 10 is 50. You subtract, you get 0, 0. So your answer is 2.35. That's the way to do it using long division. There is a shorter way to do it, of course. You could have done it doing short division. It would have come to the same answer using short division. Okay, now you could, when you divide a number by 10, you move the decimal point one place to the left. So 23.5 divided by 10 becomes 2.350, which is 2.35. So you get the same answer doing it that way. Okay, and that's number 15 there for you. Number 16, you're dividing fractions. 1/3 divided by 1/2. Now, to divide fractions, you must multiply them. Okay, so there's no getting around that. So you say it's equal to 1/3, 1/3 times 2/1. And what two things did we do? We changed division to multiplication and wrote the reciprocal of a half, which is 2/1. So we inverted the half. Those are two things you must do in order to do a division when you're dividing fractions. So change the division and multiplication and inverted the last fraction, or gave the reciprocal of the last fraction. So it's 1/3 times 2/1. Multiply your numerators, multiply denominators. Numerators 1 times 2, and then the denominator is 3 times 1. But you have to memorize that step in order to get this far. 1 times 2 is 2, of course, and then 3 times 1 is 3. That's as far as you can go. So your final answer would be 2/3. Okay, but you must remember the steps involved for dividing fractions. It's fairly simple once you understand what you have to do. You're actually multiplying for division and you're inverting the last fractions. Number 16 gives you the answer. 1/3 divided by 1/2. The answer is 2/3. 1/3 divided by a half is 2/3. 17, you have a chart and it shows fraction, decimal percent, and you have the fraction a half, and you have the percent is 50. So a half is 50%, or 50% is equal to half. What's the decimal is the big question. And it's fairly simple once you're dealing with fractions like a half, a quarter, 3/4. Those are the ones you should know straight away. Okay, 50% is 50 over 100. When you divide a number by 100, you move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So let's do that. 50 divided by 100, you move the point in the 50, because it's 50.0. So you move the point and it becomes 0.50 or 0.5. That's the answer for you if you want to do it that way. Or you can use the fraction. We use the percent. Now let's use the fraction. If you use the fraction, then you're going to have to divide 1 by 2 to work it, and you would get 0.5 as the answer as well. Okay, a half is 0.5, 1/4 is 0.25, 3/4 0.75. So a half is 50%, a quarter would be 25%, 3/4 would be 75%. Those you need to know right away. Okay, and there I did the division for you using a half. So you say 2 divided into 1. 2 into 1, you put 0, then you add a point, and then you put a 0 there with the 1 when you add the point. Then you say 2 into 10. 2 into 10 goes 5 times. So that's how you come come you get 0.5 when you do the division for it. So a half is the same as 0.5, the same as 50. And we did that one with the fraction. The first one we did with the percent. Okay, number 18, solve 3 squared minus bracket 2 times 3 close bracket plus a half is equal to what? So several steps involved in this. Let's do it one step at a time and see what you work first. Now, this is a fairly hard problem for a lot of students, but it's fairly simple once you do a step at a time. PEMDAS or BODMAS is what we'll be using, means the same thing. P stands for parentheses or brackets. B stands for brackets. So let's work that first. 2 times 3, 6. Brackets done. So it becomes 3 squared minus 6 plus a half. So you replace the bracket 2 times 3 with 6. So it's 3 squared minus 6 plus a half. And that's the first part of PEMDAS or BODMAS. Okay, after you work the brackets, then you have to work the exponents. E is for exponents, or you work O in BODMAS for orders. So the exponent is 3 squared. 3 squared is 3 times 3. The 2 tells you how many times you multiply. That's where you got the 9 from. Now we have 9, take away 6 plus a half is equal to the answer. So you can take away the 6 from the 9, you get 3. 3 plus a half, 3 and a half. So it wasn't that hard once you do it in steps. So there you have it. 3 squared minus 2 times 3 in brackets plus a half is 3 and a half. Okay, hope you got that one correct. You'll be dealing with some more of them. 19, 12% of 200, final question. And you're dealing with a percentage. The VAT in the Bahamas is 12%, so you should be able to work things dealing with 12%. If you don't know, when you go to the stores, then you can use your calculator or do it in your head. Those of you know what to do from now on. 12% means 12% of 200 means 12% times 200, and that means 12 over 100 times 200 over 1. Now you can cancel out those of you who are the smart ones can cancel out the zeros, divide by 100, and then work it out right from there. But if you don't do that, multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. 12 times 200 on the top and 100 times 1 on the bottom. Okay, if you didn't want to cancel out. But when you cancel out, it makes it easier. You won't have all the big numbers to deal with. But let's multiply 200 times 12, long multiplication, and we get 2 times 200, it gives you 400. 1 times 200, you put the 0, 1 times 200 is 200, you add, you get 2,400. So it's 2,400 over 100, 100 times 1 on the bottom. Now you can cancel by divide by 100. That's where I took out the 2 zeros to the bottom, 2 zeros to the top. I'm left with 24 on the top and 1 on the bottom. And that's your final answer, 24. Okay, notice what we did now. You multiply 12 by 200 on the top, 2,400. And then 100 times 1 on the bottom, which is 100. Then you divide it by 100. And you would get 24 over 1. So it's 24. Or, easy way, 12% means 12 in 100. So if you have 200, it's 100 plus 100. So that means 12 plus 12, and you get 24. So once you know what percent means, you can do it right away. 12% of 100 is 12, so 12% of 200 is 24, because it's 12 plus 12.